Star Trek or The Princess Bride?
Princess Bride.
I don't think I have either on that.
Bruce Almighty or The Departed?
The Departed.
I don't know.
300 or Sin City?
Sin City.
Probably Sin City.
The Shining or Batman Begins?
Definitely Shining.
I take The Shining.
Super Troopers or Iron Man?
Iron Man.
Super Troopers.
It's Super Troopers versus Iron Man on this episode of Film Fights. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Film Fights podcast, where we use a random movie generator to pick two films and pit two contestants against each other to convince me and maybe you listening out there on what to watch next. My name is Matt Dodd, and today I'm joined again by Remy Swales. Hello, Remy.
How do I keep ending up here?
I don't know. And we're joined also by newcomer David Sizemore. Thanks for joining us, David.
Hello, hello.
Glad you're here. So, Remy, we'll go to you first since you have been here a few times.
More than a few.
You watched anything?
I'm practically the co-host.
You could be. I've tried to make you that, actually. Not make you. I wasn't
You have tried to force
you.
me. Why do you think I'm here so much? Because you're slowly, whittling me down.
Huh. Good. It's working, then.
Maybe.
You seen anything interesting last week? So?
Yeah, I did, actually. I watched a movie on Netflix, an old Cary Grant, Grace Kelly film called To Catch a Thief.
Okay.
It's a pretty awesome film,
50s?
I don't know.
So, I don't
Whenever
really
it was in color.
Okay.
So probably 50s, 60s, something like that. Cary Grant's not really old in it.
Okay.
But, it's just a story about him. He's an infamous jewelry burglar. I don't know. He steals people's jewels, like old rich people.
Sure.
And so he's notorious for this, but he's retired, but there's somebody committing crimes with his same MO. And so the police are coming after him, and he has to catch the thief who's impersonating him so that the police don't put him in jail.
Well,
John
cool.
Roby, the cat.
All right.
That's his thief name.
I may check it out. It's one I've heard of, but I don't really know
really
anything
good.
about it. Okay.
Grace Kelly's good in it. Obviously a classic beauty. So she's pretty awesome in that movie.
Cool.
I just love that old style of writing, of everything very, very quick and witty, and all these great comebacks to every line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in
I
that
wish
too.
I could talk like that.
All right. Well, David, how about you? You seen anything interesting the past week or so?
I've just been watching Beavis and Butthead Do America, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Over and over again? You make it sound like you've watched it a lot.
Yeah.
Is that a film or a show?
It's
Is that the
it's
movie?
That was
yeah,
the
it's
movie.
the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
On VHS or what?
Yeah, actually. It was VHS first, and then my buddies hadn't seen it, so they started watching it on Netflix, and then we started watching it again last night.
So you're graduating formats then?
Yeah.
I'll go back to the VHS again.
I can
Nice.
see that. You like
That's
to
what
play
they're
a
there
true-
for, you know?
Yeah. I don't even have a VHS player anymore. It's kind of sad because I
Yeah.
still have a lot of those movies, but no way to watch them.
Stop by any Goodwill, man. $3 and you're good.
I do have $3. I can do that.
That's true. All right. So, Remy, we are doing Super Troopers and Iron Man. You have Iron Man in this fight. How long has it been since you've seen Iron Man?
I would say it's probably been, I'm just going to say 7 years. That's kind of my default answer for everything.
That's a good-
I don't know how long
That's
it's
a good
been
answer.
since I've seen it. So
That's
I'm
fine.
hoping it's at least that old, because if it came
it
out
is.
6 years ago, then it'd be
2008.
weird.
So, yeah, you're good. 8
Okay.
years.
Yeah, so it's probably been about 7 years since I've seen it.
That sounds about right. If people don't remember very well, because it's been 8 years, that's a long time. What's briefly the first Iron Man about?
So people like me.
Yeah. How much do you remember, I guess?
That's a good question.
It doesn't have to be super detailed.
It is Iron Man's origin story, so it's kind of the story of Iron Man's origins, where he goes from being Tony Stark, being just your kind of typical billionaire playboy and philandering around town and making tons of money, to actually being kidnapped and enduring being a prisoner of like the Taliban or Al-Qaeda or some sort of terrorist group.
I don't know if they
in the
named
movie.
him as Taliban. Yeah, I don't remember.
It's a
But
terrorist group
yeah.
in like
it's in
the
Afghanistan.
Middle East
Yeah.
or Afghanistan. So then he develops an Iron Man suit to get out of it, and then starts to have this epiphany of what his weapons, because that's what his company does, is they sell weapons, what his weapons like really do in war, because he's always been sheltered from it. So it's his kind of turning point of realizing what his company does in this world, how bad it is for people, and he can develop this technology, which is Iron Man, to combat that evil that he's been putting out there into the world.
Very good. All right.
You remember that really well for 8 years, man. 7 years.
I've been
whatever it's
accused of, having an elephant's memory.
David, don't feel intimidated, though. It's all right. How long has it been since you've seen Super Troopers?
It's somewhere about the same, man.
Yeah.
7, 8,
Probably-
maybe 10 years even.
Probably for me, too, yeah.
I don't even know.
Been a while. Do you remember... the plot's not really as important in Super Troopers, but I guess at least give the people at home, a little feel for what that movie even is.
I guess it's just a bunch of, I don't know, a group of funny cops.
Mm-hmm.
They're just very casual
Mm-hmm.
with their day-to-day routines. And then I think they get caught up in, a real scandal, I guess, that the town's going through. And then they're kind of left to solve it. Oh, that's what it's like two sets of police. It's like the highway cops or
Yeah,
something
that's
versus
right.
the local cops.
They're the
right?
highway patrol, right? Well, because they're super troopers, so they're like state troopers. And then the other group is the highway patrol? Or the
They
local
are
patrol?
state troopers, yes.
I feel like this
That's
movie
correct.
doesn't depend a whole lot
No,
on
that's what I'm saying. The
particulars
plot's
or any
not-
sort of
Yeah,
plot.
you're right. But either way, it's it's the good cops versus the cops, basically.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
sure
It's-
enough, the cops are basically behind the crimes that are actually being committed in the town.
Drug
and
running.
then
Yeah, all the shady stuff going on. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can't trust the police.
It's a comedy. It's by the Broken Lizard team, who this was probably their biggest movie, I think, but they've done a few since then as well.
Whose side are you on here?
I'm just helping to set up the film.
I see how this is going.
Mm-hmm. So last week we talked about Spider-Man 2, and Remy, you were on the other side against the superhero movie. What makes you for the superhero movie here? It's not that you didn't like superhero movies, but it's an interesting dynamic that week to week we've changed.
Right. Well, before our matchup was, a superhero film versus an irreverent thriller that's just, accolades across the board. This is a superhero film versus a stoner comedy. And I feel like, it's a pretty easy choice for me. I mean, with a stoner comedy, you know what you're getting into. You know that it's just going to be kind of like punchy one-liners and caricatures of people doing a bunch of random outlandish stuff to try and just get laughs.
Mm-hmm.
But, as we mentioned before, the plot is really nothing of consequence in that film.
But, is it enjoyable enough, though, just because it's so funny? And as a comedy, the plot doesn't matter, really.
Super Troopers?
Yeah. Not Iron Man. I mean, Iron Man's funny in its own right for some parts.
I think
but
Iron Man, to me, it's kind of like that great balance of just being a great summer blockbuster film to where it's got cliched plot points and characters, but it's just a well-done summer franchise film. Or, well, it was the launch of this franchise, but it's just a well-done superhero film. Because you've got him as, Tony Stark is the main character, and Robert Downey Jr., who's kind of become a legend through playing that character a lot, at least modernly. But, it just has a great balance of the action of Iron Man, the fights that he gets in and stuff, as well as just your typical good versus evil plot. It's very basic, but very easy to understand and doesn't try to get into all these more modern kind of complicated plot structures, with Thor, where you're getting into intergalactic aliens or demons or other races. I'm not even sure what that thing was that came to destroy the city.
in the first... Oh, and in Avengers.
Avengers, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, even Thor gets really complicated. Iron Man, or not Iron Man, but Captain America deals with this whole Nazi thing, and they have a secret plan, and there's all this stuff going on. They're trying to do a lot now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with the original Iron Man, it's just a very simple, good versus evil story that you can get into and just have fun with.
All right.
True.
But yeah, I mean, as far as Super Troopers go, it's got some good one-liners and stuff, right?
Pretty good. That's for sure.
What's your favorite one from it?
Too detailed, man. I cannot remember a single line from the movie. I just remember the guy chugging syrup. That's about all I remember. It's vividly from that movie.
I think, one of the
Farva?
main...
No, it wasn't Farva.
It was
one of the other
Jay
guys.
Chandrasekhar, or whatever, however you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Kind of the main guy.
Oh, okay. Because
Can't
I remember, I
It's
know
actually syrup, though.
kind of one of the big things from that movie that we'll still, do with my friends sometimes is doing the hey meow.
Yeah, I was going to
Tell me
start
this
doing
right
that
now.
into this, just see how many I could subtly get in, but it just hasn't worked for me so far.
Wow, you've gotten 0 in so far.
and
really
ruined it.
abandoned that ship before you ever got on.
It had a pretty good intro too, strong intro.
Yeah, that's where that whole scene is.
Where they was it? Wait,
No,
I thought
no, that's not the opening scene.
That was like in the middle of the movie. No, the
Meow's later on for sure.
Whose side are you on?
I'm just trying to set the stage for like truth here.
No, the intro is like it just shows like a car full of stoners get pulled over, and then the super troopers just start with them.
Oh, that's right, because they just drive up behind them and start yelling
And
stuff, and then
the
drive
guy,
off and
like,
then back up.
They pass all the drugs to the dude in the back seat, and he
Yeah.
eats like all the weed, and he's tripping out, and then they notice it, and they just start messing with him, driving forward and backward, and just like
Right.
telling him to pull over, and he's like, "We're already over." Oh yeah, I do remember a line. Perfect. That's it. That's the one.
See, there you go.
Yes, the most recognizable line from the film.
From what I remember about it too, like those guys, like it was kind of inspired by, like, I think like when they were traveling around and doing a bunch of stuff, because they're all like buddies, and it's just like they're basically just a
It's
comedy
like their
troupe.
comment. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had gotten into some similar scenarios where they had some kind of interaction like that with the police, and then they got talking about like how funny would it be if like the police were just like fully aware that you're doing like drugs or you're doing things wrong or whatever, and just decided, yeah, we're gonna screw with you. We're not gonna like
Right.
Right. I mean,
know.
the premise of Super Troopers, I think, is fun because they are just, this kind of crazy band of misfits, rather. And there are funny scenes. Like I mean, as with most stoner comedies, there's always a couple funny scenes and some good characters in it. But I don't know. I just have a really hard time. I don't think I could sit through the whole thing.
Okay.
Because, like, I'll catch it in spurts, but as soon as it goes to commercial, like, I'm out. Like, there's nothing that really keeps me in that movie.
I do remember like several funny scenes though that stick with me. I mean, kind of like we talked about.
Right.
The syrup scene is great.
I remember the scene where he goes to the drive-thru and he, like, he takes the sticker off of his bottle and they, like, drilled a hole in it or spit on his burger and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and he dives across the counter and, like, tackles that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's scenes that are funny in it. And I think probably one of my, or one of the scenes I really like a lot, because I mentioned I like dialogue earlier, was where they're talking in the station and they're talking about going to Shenanigans.
Yeah.
And Brian Cox.
Yeah.
I
he's
swear,
great.
the next person who mentions Shenanigans is, whatever, you're going to get fired or like fined or screwed or whatever. And I said, "Hey, Farva, what's that place you wanted to go to? Oh, you guys talking about Shenanigans? Hey." Yeah, so I mean, it's got good moments in it and stuff, but again, once that moment's passed, it's like, what am I doing? Like, there's nothing to keep me there.
All right.
I heard that.
But I mean, what don't you like about Iron Man, David? Or when have you seen Iron Man? Do you remember Iron Man?
It's also been like 8 years for me for that.
Probably since it
I
was
don't
on
know, man.
theaters and all.
To be honest, I don't really have anything against Iron Man.
You just enjoy Super Troopers a lot more. Sure.
Do superhero movies do anything for you?
Well, that's a good point.
Nah.
Not generally.
I mean,
You don't wish you could fly around?
they're not like the greatest things ever, but sometimes I guess it's easy to watch them. And it's kind of
It's
just
entertaining.
relaxing because of
Yeah.
how easy it is.
Yeah.
And honestly, for the superhero movies, I think Iron Man is probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah,
for
I'd
sure.
agree with that.
Especially like you were saying with the first one, how it was very, very, very like simple. Like just there's nothing.
It's just
I don't
back
know.
to basics, man.
It's really, really basic, and
Yeah.
I guess with that, it's pretty easy to watch. I mean, I don't know. I guess just when it comes down to it, if it's like Iron Man or Super Troopers, and you're looking at the menu, I guess I'd probably just end up with Super Troopers instead.
But why? Why, David? Why?
Why? I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'd rather the stoner comedy than the
I guess-
superheroes.
Do you get stoned when you watch it? Is that why?
It's just a little more fun for you, though. Is like, kind of what you're leaning toward. It's like you might, in general, just lean towards something that's a little more fun and enjoyable than it's got a little more.
But that's why I mean
I
I feel like
doesn't have
Iron
that
Man.
much
You
meat.
yeah.
That's where it gets complicated because Iron Man probably has like a similar.
Yeah, I mean, because that's Tony Stark's all about like those kind of quippy one-liners that are now very cliched in all the newer films and all the Avengers stuff. He's become a caricature of himself.
And every other character has become a caricature of Tony Stark too. But
Very true. Yeah, so I mean, they've played off all that, and it was that you get to see the birth of it here, where he developed this kind of persona of being that quippy, really snarky, sarcastic comeback king, so to speak, and it's really cool. Not to mention Jeff Bridges is in it. And as discussed in a previous episode,
Jeff Bridges.
he's great in everything.
He's great. That's
I
true.
defy you. Name one. Well, I would say name one bad Jeff Bridges movie.
Well, there's probably some bad movies that Jeff Bridges is in.
But is he
but
bad
he
I
still
don't
in
pulls
think.
them?
through.
I don't think he's bad in
No.
it. It's just the movie itself doesn't stand very well.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that I don't like him in. Not that I have seen everything he's been in, but
I have not seen everything he's been in either, but I know there's one titled R.I.P.D. with him.
Hey, I
and
watched that
Ryan
one.
Reynolds. Really?
yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah,
Because
it's
I
okay.
heard horrible things about it.
Yeah, I mean, the story and stuff's not good. Like, it's not great film, but again, he's good in it.
Right.
I mean, I feel like he does comedy really well because you look at things like The Big Lebowski and stuff, and I don't know, he's not very comedic. He's not anything like the guys in Super Troopers and Iron Man. You know, but I mean, he's placed more as the villain.
Right.
Because I don't know, Super Troopers doesn't really have a villain. I mean, it doesn't have much of a plot, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
like the first
local
half of the
cops, I
movie-
guess,
I
are,
think it's
but-
like that whole other set of cops. They are.
But
the
they don't
They're
villains.
the
even like
villain.
mention that until like an hour into the movie.
Right.
Well, I feel like Super Troopers, from what I remember, it feels very much like a series of like sketches, like in the beginning, where it's just like funny moments, like funny scenes for these cops to be in, and then like after like 30 minutes or so, they're like, oh yeah, we got to do like a plot, and then they
They
like
have to
get
give
this
us some sort of
Yeah.
point. Like,
Then they,
why are
like-
we here again?
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, that's right.
Then they get the whole local police thing and all the corruption stuff going on.
How does that
I guess they
movie-
slowly build that up, but it does feel like they really just like they're like, oh, we just want to be really funny for a little bit, and then
Right.
they'll be like, yeah, you'll probably hang around now.
I can't say, but do you remember how the movie ends, Dave?
Super Troopers.
Yeah. I don't imagine we'll really be spoiling anything for anybody if you give it
I
away.
don't think so.
I think they.
I'm just trying to see, because I was trying to
Don't
think if
they
I remember
s-
how Iron Man ends.
I think they set up the other cops. They set up the cops that were selling drugs
That
because
sounds-
the one cop was like hitting on the woman from the other
from the local
set
police.
of cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she, I guess, because like switches teams, or maybe she wasn't
She
in on
becomes
it
a
or
switch
something.
hitter.
Maybe she just like fills them in that those guys were selling drugs. And then-
Yeah, I think she kind of turns because seeing like from I don't know, it's
She's
very
a
least I
turncoat.
remember.
But
I've-
I don't think she was in on selling the drugs.
No,
either.
I
I, think
think
she
she-
just picks up on the fact that the other guys in that.
Yeah, kind of one of those
So you're
classic
saying they
things. of it's
couldn't
just
trust
like,
a woman?
Well,
inside
that she just
their
wasn't in
drug
with the like
circle?
inner circle with them, and like they'd been around doing this like corruption for a while, and then
Oh.
once when she understands that, then she's like, oh, I can't be with these guys either. I'm gonna help you bumbling idiots, and
I forgot Gwyneth Paltrow's in Iron Man.
yeah, she is.
Yeah, I
She
forgot. I
is.
just remembered that he was talking about girls, and I was like, oh, yeah, there is one in Iron Man. I think just one.
There is one. I mean, I'm sure there's more than one, but I think she's the only one that's really
Of note.
more heavily featured. Yeah.
I would say that is true.
All right. Well, we're running out of time. We got a few trivia questions before we run out of time, though. For Super Troopers, how many drafts do you think were written of the script?
One.
First draft. I don't know. Maybe 25.
Whoa.
Is that
That is-
too much? I don't know how many.
we play
scripts
Price is
would
Right
be
rules
like
here.
A
so
normal movie.
I played the low bet.
Yeah, that's true. That's unfortunate because David actually is closer. It's 20,
Oh.
which is a lot of revisions of that script. They
That
said
is.
they added more jokes in each time, and one of the co-writers was quoted saying, "We try to do one joke every 6 seconds."
I believe that. It feels like it.
Yeah, I don't remember it that well to be that joke heavy.
I
But
don't know what you have to do for it to be considered a joke.
I don't
Because,
know.
I mean, if it's things like, oh, we put that funny quote on the wall.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that
Does
works.
that count as a joke, though?
Anyway, it's a lot of rewriting.
Maybe they should have spent more time on an actual plot instead of just trying to ham-fist every joke they could think of.
Wasn't really their focus, as obviously you can tell. For Iron Man, how heavy was the Iron Man suit in the first film that was used for some of the stunt work?
75 pounds.
It's an interesting guess for me. I don't know why you would ever guess that.
Call it intuition.
Hmm.
I'm using my spider senses.
It's not right, but it's not that far off.
Dang it.
50.
It's 90 pounds. So
Hey,
a little heavier than the
yes.
Doc Ock suit in our last episode.
Yes,
Anyway,
I was under.
we talked about the classic meow scene in Super Troopers that we all really like a
Are we
little
talking
bit.
about that right now?
We're talking about it right now.
Okay.
What famous stand-up comedian was the driver in that scene?
Mitch Hedberg.
No, that's a good guess. That would be kind of fitting.
I don't know. That's just the first person I could think of.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
Bob Saget.
No. It was Jim Gaffigan.
Oh.
Just weird. How long did Paul Bettany work on Iron Man?
Was he on Iron Man?
He was.
Oh my gosh. Are you sure?
Positive.
Check your sources.
Positive.
He was only in the Avengers stuff as that weird
What was he
guy.
before that?
He was in A Knight's Tale.
No, in Iron Man.
What was he in Iron Man? He was a stunt double.
No. He's the voice of Jarvis in Iron Man's head.
Oh, I thought that was Jude Law.
No, it's Paul Bettany. He only spent 2 hours doing his work for the first Iron Man, and he didn't even know what he was working on. He was just doing it as a favor to director Jon Favreau.
Oh, that's right. The question was, how long did he work on it?
Correct.
Oh, I got so
Yeah.
confused
2
about
hours?
what he
was,
even
yeah,
did.
2 hours. He used to voiceover stuff, and he was just like, came in, did some voiceover, and was like, cool, all right, fun. How much money did the crew raise on Indiegogo for the funding of Super Troopers 2 last year?
Oof.
They're making a
that?
They're making a Super Troopers 2.
I mean, because Super Troopers is regarded as a pretty heavy favorite of
It's a very,
stoner comedies,
well,
right?
I'd say it's a big cult classic comedy for sure. It did well actually in theaters. It made like $23 million on like $1.5 million budget,
Wow.
which is pretty good for
That's
a
surprising.
small comedy that had no
And
studio.
it's definitely made its own mark on as far as those comedies go, for sure. They raised $2 million.
$2 million. All right,
5.
$5 million's a good guess. It was $4.5 million.
Oh,
It's the most
I'm under
successful
again.
crowdfunding for a film ever.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
it's pretty good.
I know they funded that Veronica Mars movie that way, too.
They did, and Zach Braff did a movie that made a 2 or 3 million, something like that. Wish I was here, wish you were here, something like that. So, Remy, your final thoughts on Iron Man?
I think Iron Man is one of the best superhero origin films, and I think it will give you a superb balance of action, comedy, good quips, and some well-deserved, fight scenes, and just like a little bit of drama there, so you get this kind of good versus evil fight. But you really want to watch it for Tony Stark to see his origins and just see him play around and kind of build up this character of Iron Man that he's creating. So I would recommend that to you over your kind of classic stoner comedy.
Okay, very good. Well, David, you got your last thoughts on Super Troopers. Why are we going to watch that movie?
I guess if, I don't know, you're making dinner, you want to just put something on in the background, you don't even have to start it from the beginning. Just go ahead and put it on.
Just wherever it just decides to start playing.
Yeah,
Just
Do your
get that
movies start in the
VHS.
middle?
sometimes.
He watches
Sometimes?
VHS.
Oh, that's
man.
true. I guess it could be anywhere.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
pull that
good
sucker out,
point.
put it in. You have no idea where it's coming on. At.
Touche. Sorry. Didn't mean to offend you.
Doesn't offend me.
Fence taken.
Get out of here. Anyway, okay.
Okay, that's the
Yeah,
end of it.
that's,
Oh, okay.
that's all I got, guys.
All right. Well, I love Super Troopers. I love the first, I feel like, act of Super Troopers, and then I think once they start doing the story, I don't remember it being nearly as funny.
That first
after
act
that,
is like
too.
the first hour and a half of the hour and 45 minutes.
I feel like the first 30 minutes of Super Troopers is like very, very funny. Like they had some really good ideas of like these scenes will be great, and then they didn't have enough to keep going, which also terrifies me. Super Troopers 2.
Didn't that already come out?
I don't think it's out yet. I think they just shot it, so I don't think it's done yet. It was like late last year that they got it funded, so I don't think it's
Comedy
done yet.
sequels are always the best.
Yeah, so that's not going to be good, I'm sure. But
Especially
I mean,
what?
the
How
set-
long ago did Super Troopers come out?
It was 2001.
Oh my gosh, so
yeah,
we're
15
15 years
years.
later. Yes.
Whoa.
As we know, Zoolander 2 did great.
Yeah,
Anchorman 2, blockbuster.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't believe how bad Zoolander 2 was.
You saw it?
It was awful. It was excruciating, man.
All right.
Did you start it from the beginning or just somewhere in the middle?
It's not a VHS yet.
Oh, that's true.
Thing.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I'm picking Iron Man for the win. 2
FCW.
superhero movies in a row, which I didn't intend, but all right.
Sure.
Sorry, David.
Probably a decent choice.
I'll
He's a
probably
very
watch.
gracious loser.
You are a very gracious loser. I probably will watch the first like 30 minutes of Super Troopers though, just because I remember those scenes being very funny.
Just while you're cooking or something?
While I'm cooking or something, yeah. I might
And then
just
once
turn
you
it on.
actually sit down to eat, you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all right, now I'll put on Iron Man. Because
yeah.
if I'm going to
Watch an
actually sit here
actual
and watch
movie.
something.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, so we'll wrap this up pretty quick. Last week, Andrew Johnson chose Embrace of the Serpent for us to talk about. I'm going to guess neither one of you have seen this film yet.
Nope.
Okay. I'm planning on watching it soon. I haven't watched it yet either. It's on Amazon Prime. I'll probably watch it later this week. It looked great. It's got a lot of great critical praise. It was up for the Best Foreign Language Film Oscar last year from Colombia. I don't know much about the plot, but it seemed like a very, very well done movie, and it looked beautiful from some of the stills I saw too. So,
Abrazo de la serpiente.
Sure. So check that movie out. But yeah, on to this week. Remy, you get to pick the bonus film. What would you like to recommend?
I'm going to go ahead and recommend Roadhouse.
Okay. I've never seen it.
Why, but I like Patrick Swayze.
Okay.
I like Ghost, but mainly only for the kind of one stereotypical clay making, pot making scene.
You're into clay making, pot making.
Yeah, very much. I like to make pots into clay. But no, I'm going to say Roadhouse because I think that's a great 80s kind of action, trying to be like dramatic story and stuff, but just good old Swayze action.
Okay. I've never seen it. It's always been one of those that I feel like I should catch up with. So now you gave me the excuse.
It's got some great like kind of one-liners that sound really tough but aren't. Okay. Like, you're going to play nice until it's time not to play nice.
Then
what does that even mean? I don't know.
All right.
But
have you seen Roadhouse?
No,
okay.
no.
Not familiar with it at all? Not really?
I'm familiar with it. I just never saw it either.
Kind of same with me.
We should watch it right now.
Maybe we will right after this. I have made my decision, but what would you choose out there in listener land? You can tell us on our Film Fights Podcast Facebook page. You can discuss the matchup with other people, or you can tell me what you think directly on Twitter. I'm at Matthew Dodd. You can check out previous episodes of this podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you like to listen to podcasts. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out, and give us a rating because that helps other people find us too. So, Remy, where would you like for people to find you online?
I would not like people to find me online,
Great.
But I would like people to just all take advantage of social media just in general. I like the concept of it. I think it really needs a boost. More people, not enough people are on it.
That's true.
So
let's
really cap out those bandwidths, people.
Very good. So, David, where can people go to follow you and your adventures? Because by the time this comes out, you will be not here anymore.
I don't know. I guess the standard ones, Facebook.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Track you down on
Sounds
Facebook.
Good.
They can watch your skating adventures.
Yep. Nodding doesn't translate well over radio, just so you know. So.
Yeah. I mean, I understood what you meant. But
yes, he's giving a very visual yes
very visual
for those people at home.
All right. Well, thank you guys for both being here and for fighting today. It's been fun. Enjoy the movies, everyone.